All right,
Yeah, hi,
Andy.
Tim.
Hi,
Nice to
buddy.
see you
How are you?
again.
Very nice to be here. Always nice to see my brother.
Yeah,
Yeah,
two pieces in a podcast again.
yes.
Sunday. Just telling everybody to like, share, comment, because that's how the stuff goes viral. It's doing pretty well on TikTok. I don't use it a lot, but I put every show on there, and it seems to be doing very well for comments.
Is that
And
right?
what's pissing me off today? I mean, you highlighted it, but I was actually reading a story
Yes.
because in my other channel that I do on my own, it's
Yes.
Andy's 5 minute rant, moan
Yeah.
about little things and
The Daily Rant. Yeah.
daily rant. Yeah, I'm cheesed off with this King Charles of ours. He what nothing against Muslims personally, but if you're going to praise a religion on their holiday, why can't you do the same on our Easter holiday? I mean. It turns out actually, I'll read this one to you.
Okay. Please do.
Um, Buckingham Palace issues statement after criticism on King's Easter message. King Charles forced to take action as announcement disappoints public. Or did he? There have been immense criticism surrounding the announcement that Charles will not be making an Easter speech like he has done before on other occasions for other people. This was
Yes.
not met kindly by many Christians and Britons, suggesting
Hmm.
that the king has converted to some other religion. However, all of that was dismissed as Buckingham Palace and the office of the monarch issued a greeting to the public to mark this occasion. However, some of the criticism, even from that message, was it's a lovely message, but I'm confused about who it was really from. Is it a formal message from King Charles, or was it one of his people who runs his page? One commenter wrote, and then somebody else said this sounds like a second-hand message from someone else. How very sad of our royals,
Hmm.
and would appreciate this was a more meaningful Easter message from our king. So yeah, people are cheesed off there, Tim.
And well, they should be. I'm Canadian. I'm a Commonwealth country person, but I am very furious about it. I am very, very angry. This is my mother country, and I'm very, very angry that the king is not the protector of the faith that he took an oath to be. He has to abdicate, get him off the throne, kick his ass out the door, put King William and Queen Kate on the throne. William has declared that he will be the protector of the faith. Let him try, because this guy, sorry, I don't have any respect for this king. This king has got to go. Get him out the door.
Yeah, they're sending him to America because Trump's upset our prime minister, calling him lazy basically, and they're saying it's a pre-planned visit, but apparently King is gonna try and smooth over with Trump, the relationship between the US and Great Britain. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't understand it, I mean, with this Iran war, the fuel crisis, the shortages. I mean, we're all going to be. Well, at least I live near the sea. I can always jump in and get some fish, like Jesus did years ago.
There's a new series on Netflix called The Diplomat, and I like it very much. I was watching it with the mother, and we watched a few episodes. And what I like about it is the White House and Downing Street are in each other's back pockets. I mean, the scenes shot in the States. There's always English diplomatic corps there, and over in London you've got the American diplomats. So they're constantly, you know, collaborating, let's say, whether it be on foreign policy or whether it be on domestic crises in their respective countries. And I really, really find that gratifying. I think it's true. Even though it's a fictional series, I think that's exactly what's happening. I mean, you can see how much influence Trump tries to have in British politics, maybe unwelcome, but at least there's some effort to influence the policies of the government. And I think that can be helpful. Sometimes an outsider has a different perspective that can be helpful in making decisions in the homeland.
Yeah,
Do you agree?
absolutely. Well, it used
Yeah.
to be a great country when I was younger. People, neighbours, people at work used to respect our governments. Okay, they didn't always like the leader, but and that was Margaret Thatcher, but they actually liked the policies and the way the country was going. And you went to school happy, you went to the pub happy, and you nattered about and things to natter about. Now it's just all talk about money shortages, wars, and who's going to murder or rape the next person next. There's no happiness anymore.
Well, you had a strong leader, the Iron Lady. I wasn't a fan particularly. She was a bit too much, but at least she was strong and she stood up to opposition. She stood her ground, and the nation was secure because it was under able leadership. Sorry, right now, your prime minister is worse than your king. You gotta get him out. Get rid of him. I don't know how, but this guy's gotta go.
Well, two of them in, we want to get rid of Sadiq Khan, the London man. We want to get rid of Starmer. I mean, I don't actually think people are now bothered about who's in government. They just want the leader gone and probably the deputy leader and the chancellor because they just screwed the whole country up. You know, it's not Starmer. Sadiq Khan's ruining London. He's just he might as well just put on airplanes for migrants because that's what's happened.
I mean, it used to be the most visited tourist city in the world. How many people would want to go to London today when it's not even London? What is it? It's some like Arabic country. Sorry, Arabic city. It's like being in Damascus or something like this. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I said to Joanne the other day, I said, that's London when this was a film about old London. I said, that's old London. Now you see London, it's a bit like Cairo because we've been to Cairo. And she said, oh, yeah. She said, is it the buildings or is it the people? I said, obviously it's the people because she noticed a lot of them were wearing these face masks.
Yeah. Well, you know, um, my father used to say immigration is necessary and you have to have it, but it has to be balanced. Balanced immigration. You let in a certain quota from each category. You don't flood the country with too many of one category because people will resent their presence. It's the reality. You may not like it, but that's the reality. Well, it is. It's just human nature. If you see a flood of migrants from one particular locale and too many of the same faces, there's going to be a xenophobic reaction. It's human nature. You could say, well, there shouldn't be, or people should be more noble, whatever. That's going to be the result. There will be a reaction. Now, as far as, what's happening, the globalists are deliberately doing this because they're trying to destroy the nationhood of all of our nations, so that there is no pride of place, pride of country, pride of tradition, pride of heritage. They're destroying it deliberately. Why? Because they want to absorb all of our nation states under the rubric of the fascist United Nation world government order. They call it the New World Order. They can call it what they will. It's a satanic world order, and that is what's behind this. Satanists like that horrible George Soros. What an evil man, a disgustingly evil man. And he's behind the funding of all these efforts to destroy the nation state of, frankly, the greatest country in the world, Great Britain. And it used to be great, and it needs to be great again.
Yeah, one of our good people, I mentioned him before, he's not been in jail for a couple of years. He's been lucky that they've not tried to stitch him up again. So Tommy Robinson, he's the last event. Uh,
Uh-huh.
Obviously, the media said there was about 100,000 there. There was absolutely 2 million, at least. Well, between 1 and 2 million, because people had this app on the phone and they could. I don't know what you do, swipe it in the air, and the app said there was at least 2 million. It's next March. To get this is what I basically Tommy Robinson's a younger me. When I was younger, I wanted to do something like this. Yeah, 16th of May, Central London, 40 days to go. He's going to do a march to try and get people together again, and he's absolutely not against Muslims either. He's not against. I mean, a lot of the people who help him with security are Muslims. A lot of his people he went to school with are from other countries. He's not racist. He's just fed up like we all are.
No, Tommy Robinson's great. I've listened to him. I've paid attention to his, interviews and what he has to say. He really does know why this Muslim problem is a problem. He understands it because he grew up with it and witnessed it. And
And the
he under
leaders of Israel, the leaders of America, um, and other countries. He's been to. He's good friends with leaders of Poland, Denmark, and European countries. They all said, "Yes, you're right." They've never once said he's wrong. So that's why we know he's right. You know, there's people over here call him far right. He's not far right. He's just right.
That's right.
He's just
That's
right.
absolutely right.
Everything he says is right.
Yeah, no, he's not. He's not at
I
all
mean, I think when he was
fascist.
younger, and he did probably start a movement that was a bit, bully type of a far right movement. I think when he saw what was happening within that new group he'd started, he dismantled it very quickly, and he didn't want to know.
So he saw that it was going the wrong way and he reined it in and got it under control and then eventually dismantled it because he could see it was turning into a problem. Yeah, well,
But
that's
that
fine.
was over 10 years ago, and now the media still calls him after that particular. I can't remember what it was called now. But they still say, look, Tommy Robinson of that group. There's no way in the world,
Mhm.
is he far right?
Well, no, not if you can.
English Defence League, it was called.
Oh, the English Defense League. Yeah, that sounds a little far right. Um, well, I mean, if you can examine yourself and you can examine your movement and see that it needs correction, then that by definition means you're not an extremist. You're a clearly sober, reasoning, and conscientious and careful. and you don't want it to become an extremist organization, so you rein it in and get it under control. There you go. That's proof of the pudding.
if there's any pudding left.
Yeah.
Yeah, our petrol prices, they've gone from like £1.20 to £1.90 now on average per litre of fuel. So that's, I don't know, I'm not that very good at maths anymore, but that's a significant increase, at least, um, I don't know, nearly 50%, 40% maybe. That's a lot of jump.
Yeah, it's a big jump. Is there any talk about the need for rationing and maybe some blackouts?
Yeah, so they're basically saying, you've heard this one before,
Uh-huh.
stay at home, work from home if you can, get the bus if you can, you know. In fact, some countries are giving free bus tickets out if you don't use your car, so they can preserve the supply. Um,
I
Normal food's gone up a little bit. I mean, I don't know, 10, 20, 30p an item, you know. It's still quite a lot though. I mean, when you add up your weekly shop, you was paying, I don't know, £60 and then you're now paying £80. It's a per week. That's a significant, you know, increase
It's a bit of a jump, yeah.
as a,
Well,
you know, as an example.
I think people misunderstand inflation. They see it as rising prices when really what's happening is that your currency has been devalued, so it's losing its purchasing power.
Yeah, I must admit, I always thought it meant high prices too. I do know also that if you spend a lot, your inflation goes down. So, you know, if they encourage people to spend and buy things, it controls the inflation a little bit. That's if you can afford it in the first place to purchase
Yeah.
anything.
Well, I got a taste of what it's like to live in the third world when I was in the Philippines, and the purchasing power of the Philippine peso is very low. And so the families struggle because they can't keep up with the cost of living because their salaries are low, the purchasing power of their currency is low, and so they find it difficult to live. The basic amenities of life are hard for them to manage. And so at least one family member from the Filipino family, the average Filipino family, has to go abroad to earn money to send back to the family.
Yeah, absolutely. This is why a lot of people on cruise ships are from the Philippines. A lot of people in the airline industry, again, they're from the Philippines, or there's two or three countries very similar, and you always find, you know, that type of person is working in that industry because they're sending it back home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, that's the reality. Um, so I hope that there is a transition to the new king, William, soon. What do you think the prospects are of that?
There's a lot of rumors that Charles isn't that well because he's got this prostate cancer that's under control, but I bet they're planning for his departure already, like they did with the Queen. You know, I think they have this drill, don't they? I think her drill was when she's dying, Operation London Bridge or something like that, anyway. But I think they're already planning that.
I see. Well, um,
I don't think William there will be any. I don't know. Out of the two brothers, I think I did trust him better, but he lost all his sparkle. They both did when his mum died. That's the problem. But him and Kate are more the way Diana was, right enough.
So it would be a king and queen of the people and very up to date and up with the times, right? But I have a feeling he would be somewhat less uh, of the appeasement. He would the policy of appeasement that Charles is represented with the Muslim community. I don't believe that William would abide by that to the same extent. I mean, you know that I've written a book about Gandhi, right? Gandhi under cross-examination. His policies of appeasement towards the Muslims was that bad. I mean, Hindus were being slaughtered in the streets of West Bengal by a terrorist organization called the Muslim League, and Gandhi did nothing. And he went on hunger strikes whenever there was an uprising or animosity of any kind directed towards the Muslim community. You know what I'm saying? And he was conspiring with the Amir of Afghanistan to launch an invasion of India to found a Muslim caliphate in India, and he had plans to impose the Urdu language upon Indians, calling it Hindustan as a language. And all of that was going on behind the scenes. And in his courtroom defense, after assassinating Gandhi, and his name is Mohandas Gandhi, not Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma means great soul, and I withdraw the title. No, he was not. He was a very dangerous man, and he was not a patriot that was interested in the best for his own country. He was responsible for the vivisection of India along the Pakistan-Indian divide. He was responsible for that, and it solved nothing because there was a Muslim minority in most of the provinces of India. So what did it solve in terms of placating the Muslim community? It didn't solve a damn thing. All it did is exacerbate relations between Muslims and Hindus and created a very dangerous border between Pakistan and India that could have led at any stage in its modern history to open warfare. It was a disaster, and Gandhi was a disaster. And I think the real hero that led to, Indian independence and the, proper direction of the country was Naturam Godse. And Gopal Godse wrote about his brother's courtroom defense, but it was banned for 40 years. And it was called May It Please Your Honor. And it's in that defense that Naturam Godse made in court that he cited all of the faults that Gandhi exhibited, for which he had no choice, he claims, but to remove him from power through violence. And I'm sorry, but you've got leadership in your own land now that is following the same policy of appeasement towards the Muslim community, and it'll eventually come to the same head. There will be violence in the streets, and if you don't have proper leadership, the English people will not be properly protected against the violence of a Muslim terrorist cell. And I wouldn't even put it past MI6 to be involved because it's a very corrupt entity that serves the New World Order, the globalists, and it's just like the CIA in that regard. You know,
That's what a lot of people are saying.
is that right?
Yeah, no, they've
Even in
already
your,
been
yeah.
thinking that far ahead. Yeah, so if Charles died, it's Operation Menai Bridge. That's the code for he's died. It's only a funeral planning code. That's what I was trying to think of earlier. Yeah, I mean, we had 3 or 4 weeks ago an Iranian got stopped at Britain, which is in Scotland, nuclear plant. Um, and what happened was he went to court on the Monday with this foreign woman from somewhere like Eastern Europe. They went to court and disappeared. So we don't know what the charges were, or that's weird. You would have thought that suspected terrorists outside of Faz Lane, which is a nuclear plant here in Scotland, you would have thought they told the public what they'd done to them.
Well, if they just disappeared, then there's complicity within the British establishment to see that they are disappeared and not properly prosecuted for this.
It's very strange. Or is it strange? I mean,
Well, it's like the terrorists in 9/11, the Israeli terrorists that were basically spirited out of the country with due haste after 9/11. The dancing Israelis, I'm talking about the ones that were seen celebrating the destruction of the World Trade Center on the New Jersey motorway or expressway.
yeah, Trump, by the way, he's had a little rant. He said that open the straits by tomorrow night, or he swore in the media, or he'll fucking blow the shit basically out of Iran's power plants and everything. And then he says, um, in Allah's name or something, forgive me, Allah, or something, in the Muslim. God knows what that meant, but yeah.
He is a character, I'll say that.
Yeah, I think he's a bit of a gambler without backing the right horse. He's backing the wrong sort of. He's more of a gambler, yeah. He's a financial gambler with not knowing who's going to win and who's going to lose.
Mm. Yeah.
I've got
Well,
nothing against most people in the world, but when it comes to your petrol going up, your food going up, are you getting bombed when you walk outside? That is a new level of you can't forgive.
mm, yeah, I see what you're saying.
I mean, all I can say to people is find somewhere out of the city, in the hills, and just move, and or get a camper van, get your tent. Hopefully, the cities will be back to normal one day.
Well, you're in a nice location away from the fray up there in the Orkneys, but when you make your trips to the hospital on the mainland and so on in the months to come, and the petrol prices keep going up and so forth, I mean, how viable are those trips going to be for you? Are you going to be able to make it?
Well, luckily, yeah, we're not too bad, because they do help you with the travel fares, but they don't
Is that
help you
right?
with the fuel. I mean, you have to put the fuel in yourself, but they help you with the car cost of traveling by ferry, so it's not
Is
too
that right?
bad.
Okay.
And we've got a local hospital which is only 20 miles away on a ferry, 20 miles away. So we've got a nearer hospital rather than the mainland hospital.
I just wanted to tell our viewers our Andy had a tumor in his kidney a few months back, and we were looking at options on what could be done, but the medical staff at the hospital were convinced that the only safe way of containing it and preventing the cancer from spreading was to have the kidney removed. So he's down one kidney, and that's really worrying. And
Well, at the time, Tim, I think I found symptoms in September. I had the operation by the December of 24. And when they actually taken it out and they'd done the biopsy,
yeah,
it was less than they expected, but they expected it had already almost gone too far, you know. But luckily, we got better news on the biopsy. But we know what caused this, don't we?
yeah, the mRNA, COVID mRNA vaccine, Pfizer. I think he took 2 doses. That
Pfizer, yeah.
that did it. Now, the Moderna version was even worse. It actually had a poison in it. I can't recall the exact nature of the poison, but I kid you not. It was actually, you have to publish the ingredients of products, right?
Mm.
They didn't have it on the outside of the package, they had it inside, but it did indicate that this poison was present in the Moderna product. So it was a clear, obvious bioweapon. Without debate, you can't debate the point. They themselves published the evidence.
Yeah, and John, whatever his name is, I can never remember his name. On YouTube, he's an ex-nurse, and he, he's now saying that only a recent video this week, he's now saying that the people's cancers and could definitely be caused by injections. Remember, I had my car thingy bob as well, and and I never had that before.
Well, you have
My
an
car,
art.
that
You
one.
had an Andy. You had an article that you shared, which I saw, that was showing that an independent study had established that yes, the mRNA vaccine that had been devised as a COVID-19 vaccine was in fact had been found to be causing cancer. Do you have that? Do you want to share it
I
now?
don't have it on me because I can Zoom's good at the moment, but for some reason I can't get to my browser. I was trying to find it earlier. I don't know. It must be my computer. It's a funny
You know,
computer. 1 minute it won't go on the internet, next minute it won't give you a browser.
so I was in Ottawa, as you know. I was visiting the mother. I stayed with her for about a month, and then she was facing eviction from her place herself due to the fact that the landlord the landlady wanted to renovate and make some changes to the property, and that has all been forestalled because the mother never actually moved. It's winter time, and to evict someone in Canada in the winter time, especially in a cold freezer like Ottawa, is very difficult. And so the mother is still there. Um,
Yeah,
So far,
that
yeah,
would
so
be
far.
criminal to put anybody out on the streets in the winter.
It's unbelievably cold. I found that the temperature was at least 10 degrees colder than Toronto, and it was a fierce winter, very, very cold. And I paid 650 for a room rental not far from her, and the guy never showed up. It turned out to be a rental scam. And so, due to that, I didn't have money for rent the subsequent month. So I had to go to a homeless shelter. And I thank the Shepherd of Good Hope, the Shepherds of Good Hope in Ottawa for taking really good care of me. What a great place. They give you free meals a day, guaranteed, and very often a snack meal at night in addition. There's often clothing and food giveaways outside the shelter, um, what they call the drop-in center, which is also the cafeteria where people eat their meals. But these people from various companies or organizations come and drive up and give away clothing, free clothing, and food to these people as well at the drop-in center. Some people are staying in the shelter and some are not. The drop-in center is open to homeless people that don't have a shelter or any place to go. They can come in, get warm, and have a meal. Those people are there as well. And so when there's free giveaways of food or clothing to such people, you can see why it would be needed because they're living out on the street until there's room in the shelter to take them in.
Yeah, God bless to them. And